In the year 225 BC, the rugged landscape of ancient Italy bore witness to a clash that would shape the course of history, the Battle of Telamon. Two great powers, the Roman Republic and the Gauls, converged upon the battlefield, their ambitions and destinies hanging in the balance. The Romans marched into battle in their standard triplex axis formation, which was a critical tool to their many successes during the days of the Republic. The Gallic tribes of Cisalpine Gaul were made up primarily of the Insubres and Boii tribes. Their army was roughly 50,000 in strength, divided into two divisions, a northward-facing and southward-facing force, as they were being attacked from two directions from two separate Roman armies. The Roman armies were closing in on the Gauls' position, led by two consuls, Gaius Atilius Regulus and Lucius Aemilius Papus. They each had a force of roughly 50,000, bringing their total strength to 100,000 men. The Gauls were led by two Gallic chieftains, Concolitanus of the Boii tribe, a warrior of immense stature and unmatched ferocity, and Aneroëstes of the Insubres tribe. At the Roman forefront were the Velite skirmishers, followed by younger recruits, the Hastati. Closely behind were the more seasoned Principes infantry, and finally the most experienced and battle-hardened Triarii made up the third and final lines of infantry. Consul Regulus's army had arrived to cut off the Gauls before Consul Papus's army had arrived, leading to Gallic cavalry and Roman cavalry led by Regulus getting into a skirmish atop a sloping hilltop which overlooked the plains of the upcoming battlefield of Telamon. When Consul Papus had arrived, he observed the struggle atop the hilltop and realized that his fellow consular army was nearby and potentially had already initiated the battle with the Gauls. Papus wasted no time. He led his entire cavalry contingent atop the sloping hilltop, hoping to reinforce his comrades and gain the advantage that steep slope would provide once the main engagement got underway. They were able to successfully defeat the Gallic cavalry and claim the hilltop, though unfortunately Consul Papus had arrived too late. His fellow Consul Regulus and most of his cavalry contingent were killed in the initial skirmish for the hilltop. And upon killing the consul, the savage Gauls had cut off his head and taken it to their two kings below on the plains as a symbolic prize and to boost their men's morale for the upcoming battle. With Papus and his cavalry contingents holding the hilltop, the Roman centurions advanced their legions forward and proceeded to give battle. The Velites ushered forward and began loosing their pylons into the Gallic lines, causing significant damage. The Velites withdrew, and the first line of Hastati advanced forward. The battle raged on with savage intensity, the clash of steel and the cries of the wounded filling the air. The Romans fought with disciplined ferocity, their shields forming an impenetrable wall against the Gallic onslaught. But the Gauls, fueled by a frenzied fervour, fought with reckless abandon. The Hastati withdrew, and the Principes advanced forward. Consul Papus knew now was the time to strike. With a thunderous charge, his cavalry descended down the slope upon the Gallic flank, catching them off guard and throwing their ranks into disarray. Caught between the hammer and the anvil, the Gauls fought bravely but futilely against the combined might of the Roman legions and cavalry. Aneroëstes, chief of the Insubres, was killed in battle, whilst Concolitanus, chief of the Boii, was captured as a Roman prisoner. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the blood-soaked fields of Telamon, the last remnants of Gallic resistance were crushed beneath the heel of Roman conquest. Lucius Aemilius Papus stood triumphant, his name destined to be remembered as a hero of Rome.